Hey, welcome back. This is the second episode of my Minecraft Christmas World. This is an SMP survival multiplayer, and we are back for some more action here. In the last episode, I had started this town hall, and so now I am finishing it. And all I really needed to do was just put in some floors with stone brick and also put down some torches. This actually took a while to grab all the resources, but then I started labeling the town hall for others to use, and this is the full tour here. I have 4 wings just like I wanted to, and I haven't yet decided what I want each of them to be, but as you go out of each one, there'll be a new place to go or a new kind of room. Then I went mining, and then when I went mining, I honestly just needed any kind of resources. I didn't necessarily think I'd find a ton of iron, but I just wanted to explore a little bit, and I actually did find a zombie spawner, and so if I wanted to make an XP farm here early game, it's not too far from my base, but it's actually just far enough where it's a little bit annoying, so I didn't actually end up doing anything with it just yet, but I wrote down the coordinates, mapped it out, and got a little bit of loot. Then I mined a ton more iron, and I actually had enough to finally make some gear and tools that weren't copper, because man, I was using a lot of copper tools, which is alright, but all good things must come to an end, and copper is good for a little bit. Then I decided to make some iron armor because, doesn't get better than that. Iron armor is one of those things you just stay in that phase forever. So I swapped out my copper for iron except for the boots because I didn't have just enough yet. And I smelted up some more of that copper that I mined last episode, which was a lot. And then I made more copper tools because I had an idea. I had a great idea actually. If I made a bunch of copper shovels, I could start terraforming my land a little bit and make it more flat to finally build a structure, because I had built that town hall, but I hadn't actually done anything useful for my neck of the woods. So that's exactly what I started doing, and I used spruce wood because spruce wood just looks so good in most contexts, especially a snowy world like this. Spruce wood is just big old kiss for that one. I just kind of counted out some basic structure stuff, although I am not a very good builder, so it is going to be a pretty basic build. But I decided to do a stone brick trim on the bottom, and then I would cut out some windows and use glass panes because glass is hard to come by. I had to go to the nearby river and basically almost drown myself every time to grab some sand. But when I did, I got enough to make some glass panes for windows for my house. And nothing too crazy, but I did want to make it 2 stories, so I at least had a little bit more room. I love 2-story houses. And then I decided to make the floor a oak wood pattern, and I would strip it all, and I think it looks pretty good. I mean, I love this floor design. I don't know where I first learned about it, but the day I did, it changed my life. And then I had bunnies nearby, and I needed real meat bad, and so I started harvesting bunnies. That's kind of cruel, but whatever. And I put down a little fenced area, and then also did some more harvesting. I grabbed wood, I grabbed all kinds of wheat and carrots and potatoes, and started breeding up those rabbits. I got a second one there. Then back at my house, I was making really good progress. As you can see, I put down a bunch of chests and even a staircase that went up to that second floor where I put the bed up top. Then once I was able to grab a little bit more wood, which I'm cutting out a lot of scenes, but I did a lot of cutting down of trees, I then built up a second floor. And while I got bored doing that, I grabbed a fletching table because I knew I had those villagers downstairs from the igloo, which I'd eventually bring up top. But for now, they're down, trapped underneath the ground, and I decided, well, I might as well start trading with them. So I started trading with that guy and got back to work on my house. I made this balcony, and for not being a very good builder, I am proud of my balconies. I will stand on business there. Then I made another bucket so I can finally have 2 buckets instead of 1, and I was getting more resources. As you can see here, I had 43 iron, which was kind of that's a big deal for me, and then I moved my infinite water to somewhere else so I could put down a second plot of land to farm on, and then I went back down to the mines because I yearned for them. I really did. And I just did lots of caving, and finally I found my first diamond. And unfortunately, it was just 1 diamond, but, what can you do? I still celebrated it anyways, You gotta celebrate your first diamond. And then I ended up finding a few more veins, and I had been mining quite a bit. I realized that it's fun to have copper tools until it's not, and so having some iron and maybe even a little bit better gear like diamond is perfect. And it was a really nice time because open caves are so easy to find diamonds. It feels really good, and you feel like you're getting your money's worth for the time you're spending. And I even found an iron ore vein. For those of you who don't know, there are iron ore veins in Minecraft, and if you find like iron and tuft, it's like the money. And then I made a diamond pickaxe with all that diamond I had. Pretty sweet, huh? And I thought, you know what, I might as well protect myself too, and I made a diamond sword. And then I did some mining for obsidian because I needed some obsidian. I wanted to get to early game enchants as soon as I could because otherwise you're just kind of wasting XP. And I even dropped off care packages at all 3 of the other people in the server's bases. This is about what each care package looked like, except for this last one I just had diamonds, and so I added 2 diamonds, but pretty sweet. I feel like I'm a good contributor to society. And then I grabbed some cows from somebody else on the server because they had tracked down cows from pretty far away. And I brought them all the way back to my base, which wasn't close. I mean, that took a while. And so now I went from just having bunnies to now having bunnies and cows, cows are infinitely better than bunnies. I don't even need to tell you guys that. Then I went back under to trade with those 2 villagers that I had trapped down there, and the second one I made into a toolsmith because I didn't want to have to get a bunch of diamond tools from using diamonds all the time, especially early game, and so toolsmiths actually will give you diamond tools eventually once they level up high enough. And so this guy even traded with like diamond hose. I mean, that's sweet, you know, free diamond hose. Come on now. And then when I leveled him up to expert, he even had a diamond axe and a diamond shovel. So just like that, I had a diamond axe just by trading sticks. If you guys don't get into villagers, you're missing out on Minecraft. It makes the world so much easier. Then I bred up my cows, so I had just enough to make 1 book, which is just enough to make an enchantment table. I wouldn't be able to do any level 30 enchants just yet because you need a lot of leather for that. But I did end up making an enchantment table here with some obsidian, some diamonds, and a book. And with that, I could finally use some of my 40 levels, which is way too much to have in early game. So, because like I'm for sure, I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna die. I don't know if it's in this episode or the next one, but I'm telling you, I'm gonna die. And so I enchanted all my iron gear, pretty basic stuff like protection and efficiency. But what I like to do is if I have diamond tools, I like to put unbreaking on them just so they last a little bit longer while they still suck. But I lied because I put on sharpness on my diamond sword. But still, really nice to have early game enchants. And I also had some leftover obsidian to make a nether portal. So although I probably wasn't very well prepared for the nether in terms of like having iron armor, I went anyways, and I put down my nether portal just in the middle of my property here and decided to go in. In the nether, I didn't see a whole lot going on. I was in a warped forest, which is perfect because there are so many endermen that spawn there, so like if you're trying to get ender pearls early game, it's really nice. But otherwise, I just kind of cleared out this warp tree and collected a little bit of shroom lights. I love shroom lights. I'm sure a lot of you guys share that sentiment. And then I bodied this gas with Return to Sender and even got a free music disc out of it. Although while I was at the bottom, I almost died to these piglins, so that was kind of scary. I mined some nether quartz too. I got some XP from that, which is pretty nice. And then as I fell into the lava here, I'm trying to like rejoin my world, and I was freaking out here. I was like, oh my gosh, I had gotten knocked in by a piglin. Wasn't even recording. So then I went on my girlfriend's account and I cleared out a massive hole in the lava. It took me about an hour to clear it all out, and I still ended up dying. But at least I like saved all my items. It would suck to lose all that diamond gear I just got. But I did lose 35 levels, which was pretty disappointing. But later on, I made a snow golem farm, which is pretty easy. You just like basically put down a snow golem, but trap him, and he won't move, and he won't ever despawn. And so when that happens, you can just infinitely mine the snow that he creates, and it's so much easier than trying to get snow like from like the surface or anything like that. Then I counted out some more farmland because now I wanted to make some pumpkins. I had a project in mind that I wanted to make a really big snow golem, but I didn't know how to do it, and so I thought, well, I think I should make the head a pumpkin instead of like snow, because it's like that's what Minecraft does. I know, it's pretty genius. And because I'm not a very good builder, I think big scale projects are easier for me because I don't have to add as much detail. They're more just like cool because they're big. So here is a time lapse of me building the bottom of this massive snow golem that I collected a bunch of snow for, and I'm pretty proud of it. So let's see how it goes here. And with that time lapse, you can see this is the snow golem so far. Pretty fancy. Little odd shaped midsection. I'm gonna have to curve that out, but pretty good progress so far. And I only have 2 pumpkins to my name so far. But this is the snowman. Let me know what you think. And that's gonna be it for the episode. Thank you so much for watching. This is episode 2. Many more episodes planned in the future. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.